The Reese Senior Bowl is a college showcase for draft-eligible prospects. Each and every year, we see players have big performances during the week, pushing their stock through the roof. So today, I want to take a look at the roster and maybe project who some of those big risers could be. And of course, we got to start with the wide receiver position because, well, usually wide receivers are the biggest risers coming out of the Senior Bowl. So let's start with Jack Bech, the wide receiver out of TCU, who's coming off a big year. He's coming in at 6'2", 215 pounds, and he ended up making second team all Big 12 this year. He's got plus size. He's a very polished route runner, incredible hands. I don't think he had a drop this season. Matter of fact, his contested catch rate, 64.7%. Love to see that. He's a plus run blocker. Really, the biggest concerns with Bech is he's probably a slot only. He's not like an elite level athlete, so he might get pigeonholed into the slot. On top of that, I think the bigger concern, and this won't be an answer we get until the combine, will be the medicals regarding his knee. Like, he suffered a knee injury back at LSU, played through it, but it cost him the 2023 season, and that was his first year where he transferred to TCU. And then this year, finally healthy, but he ends the year with an MCL sprain on the same knee. So the knee is gonna kind of be huge for him. So hopefully he has a big week, but we're gonna get a little more clarity on him at the combine, or at least teams are, because we don't always get medicals. And then we got the Virginia Tech wide receivers. I haven't gotten to the Virginia Tech film yet. I'm literally trying to hammer down all the tape for these Senior Bowl accepted invites, and I just haven't got to Daquan Felton or Jalen Lane. I believe Lane's more of the slot option there. Yeah, he is playing in the slot 90% of the time. Golly. And then there's, of course, Jalen Royals. Y'all know I absolutely love me Jalen Royals. This dude broke out on the scene last season for Utah State, had a massive year, was well on his way to having another big year there at Utah State before injury. But he's fast, he can separate, but he's also very good at the contested catch. So I'm very intrigued to see, okay, how does he deal with NFL level competition, higher level of competition? Because the two games this year, one against Maryland, one against USC, were probably his least productive games over his career. So it's going to be important to see him do well against better competition. And then, of course, we got Bech's teammate here, Savion Williams. He's coming in as a massive, right? He is 6'5", 225 pounds. A lot of people are giving him the Cordero Patterson comp. Some people also are connecting dots with Laviska Shenault Jr. What if he doesn't end up being Cordero Patterson? What if he ends up being more of a Shenault Jr. and just really a return man and a gadget player? And I mean, this year he kind of broke out, had a solid year. He had 6 touchdowns receiving, 6 rushing touchdowns, even had a passing touchdown. He was just kind of used all over the place, and he is a super athlete. Like, he made Bruce Feldman's freaks list for his explosiveness, recorded a 40-inch vert, 10-foot and 6-inch broad jump. And you see that on film. Like, he's got really good ability to separate. He's a contested catch king, and at that size, you better be. And he's shown a ton of versatility. He's tough to bring down, but it's not like he ran a crazy route tree at TCU. On top of that, he does have some bad drops, and they're like easy drops. It's like, I know you could go up and make the tough catches, but let me see you make the easy ones. But I'm actually very excited because I know, was it Mel Kiper was really high on Savion Williams. Everybody loves the NFL draft, and I know you want to be familiar with every potential prospect that your team may draft. So I got good news for you. My draft guide is available for purchase. It is good throughout the entire draft cycle, and it updates through the season regularly. You'll get my current evals and rankings on hundreds of different players with player backgrounds and analytics. It also contains combine and pro day numbers, as well as my notes from the Senior and Shrine Bowl. You can purchase it for a one-time payment of $30 on PayPal, Venmo, and now I have the Cash App. follow the link in the description, and be sure to include your email because it is a Google spreadsheet. That is how I share it with you. So please don't make me hunt down your email. Just don't do it. Anywho, it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. You have Trevor Sigma came out. I really liked him. So I went to the tape. I was like, okay, I can see it in kind of a, I don't want to call it a down wide receiver class, but definitely not a wide receiver class that has been like the ones of yesteryear, the past few seasons. We also have Brew McCoy, which was great to see him play this year. He had the broken leg, probably would have got drafted in the 2024 NFL draft, but ended up having to return. You got Tez Johnson, who, golly, one of the most fun slot only players, I would say that in this class. A lot of people give him the Tank Dell comp, and it's, I don't know. I felt like Tank Dell was a guy that showed the ability to be able to survive on the outside. I don't think Tez necessarily has that ability, so it might pigeonhole him a little bit into being a slot only, maybe a guy you got to scheme around. You got Xavier Restrepo. For a lot of people, he's kind of the top slot in this class. Hella fun, tough to bring down, but just not a high level athlete. We also got Ty Felton. This is a favorite. This is going to be a dark horse of mine. I absolutely love Ty Felton. I love the speed. I love his ability to make plays after the catch. I think he's shown some ball skills, and he kind of blew up this year at Maryland. So I got hopes, man. I got hopes for the boy, Ty Felton. I really do. Next, we have the Iowa State wide receivers. You got Jalen Knoll, who's more of a slot only. You got Jaden Hickens, who's this prototypical X type of wide receiver. So there's a host of guys who could be trying to increase their stock. I mean, I will say this, for this draft class, you got almost every different type of taste for the wide receiver position. You're looking for a slot, a gadget, a prototypical X, contested catch, possession type guy, yak type guy. Like they have like speedsters. They have it all. They have it all in this class. Pat Bryant's one of those contested catch possession receivers I was talking about. Let's go ahead and let's move on to the tight end position, because I do want to talk about in particularly Elijah Arroyo here, the tight end out of Miami. Kind of the biggest concern with him is just it's a small sample size. He had an ACL injury that took him a while to come back from, and this year has really been the one year we actually got a good look at him. So I don't know if many teams will be willing to risk it for the biscuit on day 2 for him, but maybe early day 3. He was a former 4-star recruit. He's a savvy route runner, or at least a savvy receiver. He's a big effort blocker. He's very sure-handed. He's just kind of a nightmare up the seams, because like that's kind of what he was asked to do at Miami, man. It's like, hey, just go fast up the seams, use those ball skills. And again, the knee injury is going to be a bit of a concern, the ACL. So we'll see how those check out at the combine. And it's at 6'4", 245. He's not going to be a consistently good inline blocker, but again, he brings that effort. So might need to maybe add a little bit more play strength to the repertoire there. But looking at some of these other guys, like, dude, UCLA, I need to watch UCLA tape. They have way more prospects getting invited to either the Shrine or the Senior than I expected. And I'm like, okay, gonna have to go turn on that UCLA tape. They were a bad team this year, but guess it kind of is what it is. But we also have Jackson Hawes. I think that's how you say it. He's kind of the elite, like an elite inline blocking tight end, but literally offers you almost nothing in the passing game. But I mean, we saw a guy like AJ Barner last year end up going in, I think, in the 4th round. So definitely Hawes here can get into that mid to maybe even early day 3 territory. Gunnar Helm is it's kind of been the favorite target of Quinn Ewers. He gives me real like Jared Wiley type of vibes. Gavin Bartholomew out of Pittsburgh. And let's see what I put about him. Put work in progress as a blocker, drop problems, lack of twitch, downhill blocker, tough ball carrier, V8 truck. Golly. So ideal size and length for the position. On top of being a plus athlete, he is well built and gets off the line well. He builds up top speed quickly and is a long strider. He had a sick hurdle versus Tennessee on his way to a 57-yard touchdown back in 2022. So I do need to get back to his tape and do a reeval, but coming into the year, I had him as a priority free agent. So hey, man, maybe something to look out for there. I love Terrence Ferguson. He might not necessarily always be flashy. Like he's got a few he's got some hurdles there. He's got some flash plays, but like he's just so consistent, and he brings a ton of special teams experience. You also got Jack Brennenstuhl, who I kind of feel like is more of a big slot, but like the tight end class is pretty solid. It's pretty solid, and there's still other guys we're kind of waiting to hear back from, like Harold Fannin. Does he transfer? Does he declare for the draft? You got Mitchell Evans, who's going to be taking part in the college football playoffs. So it's going to be interesting. But let's talk about running backs here. We got, what is it? Bashul Tudin. I'm not particularly that high on him. I think he's draftable. Don't get me wrong. But like for him, I'm just, he needs to add more mass. He's coming in at 5'11", like 209. Not bad, but it's just like, I feel like he's smaller than that. And I also, like he wants to play with that physicality, but he just can't always. Also doesn't have elite speed. Passing game just doesn't have soft hands. So like I kind of feel like he's a mid to late day 3 pick. You got the Michigan duo. You got Mullins, who's the power back. You got Edwards, who's supposed to be the lightning to Mullins thunder. And it's just over the last 2 years, that really hasn't been the case for Edwards, unfortunately. Devin Neal, man. If you're not new to the channel, you know I absolutely love Devin Neal. This is my back. And last year, I think I had a 3rd round grade on him. Coming to the year, I had a 3rd round grade on him. And I'm hovering around that 3rd, 4th round grade just because in a stacked class like this, golly, man, he gets pushed down the board and it sucks. He's an explosive athlete, creative runner, really good contact balance. He's got improved hands as a pass catcher. Ended up having 266 receiving yards this year, but he does lack that 3rd gear to really make home run plays. There are instances of him getting caught from behind, which I mean, hey, it is what it is. If he's, I'm not going to be mad like that 40-yard play could have been a 47-yard touchdown. I'm not going to be mad about that. The vision's got him better, but he does miss some running lanes on the inside. Pass protector, not great, but I still absolutely freaking love Devin Neal. We also have RJ Harvey, Jarquez Hunter. He's kind of fine, but RJ Harvey's hella fun. I think people are higher on him than I am. I think he's kind of a middle end athlete for being a smaller back, coming in at 5'9", 205. But we've seen backs who might not be elite athletes despite being smaller. Guys like, you got, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Kyron Williams, there we go, for the Rams. You got Bucky Irvin for the Bucks. So like, if you're looking for that elite vision back, RJ Harvey can be that. He also offers a great ability as a pass catcher. He really does. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really don't want to talk about this quarterback class. I really just don't. It's not particularly looking good or great. And I don't love the talent here at the Shrine or the Senior Bowl. And then you got Shadur Sanders. He's going to the Shrine. But we got Dylan Gabriel, short Keen. I'm sorry. I just don't believe in short quarterbacks anymore. Riley Leonard. He's got tools, but just not a complete passer. Will Howard, honestly, kind of in the same boat as Riley Leonard. And then Tyler Shuck, dude. I remember first evaluating him when he was at Oregon, and he's just kind of stuck around, bounced around. He was at, I think, Texas Tech last year, found himself over at Louisville. Like, golly, man. Yeah, he's been in college football since 2018. That's nuts. I didn't realize he's been around that long. But, like, he's got a prototypical build. He's got a good arm. It's just like his accuracy comes and goes. The decision making comes and goes. And to be fair, it's been better this year. But we're probably talking about maybe at best a backup quarterback in the NFL, maybe a middle to high end backup potentially. But like, again, potentially. Anywho, let's move on to the offensive line. You got Jack Nelson coming in here. I know Alex from Hail Mary Sports, big Jack Nelson guy. Actually, the other tackle there at Wisconsin decided to return. You have Charles Grant. A lot of people like him out of William & Mary. Is he a guard? But he's got like 35-inch arms. Maybe he's more than that. Wyatt Millam, a lot of people really like him, but he might have suboptimal arm length, which is kind of the story of this tackle class. Like, what are your arms? You know? Jonah Monheim. I like Monheim. He played center for the first time this year because he figured that's where he projects best in the NFL. But he's someone who's played literally all 5 positions on the offensive line. So he brings very good versatility. You have Ajani Cornelius, who solid year, but he was easily the most picked on between him and Josh Connerly Jr. Connerly was just been really good this year. Greg Zabel played tackle over there at North Dakota State, but ultimately probably going to end up being a guard at the NFL. Did I say Oklahoma State? North Dakota State. I can't recall. Anthony Melton. I liked him coming into the year, man, but part of me thinks maybe is he more guard than tackle? Like, I can't decide because he'd be a mammoth guard, but like I thought he might have like an Akem Ikwanu type of rise, but then NC State season fell apart real early, unfortunately. Ariante Ursary is projected to be one of the top tackles in this class, so love to see him there. Haven't got to Jalen Rivers yet. Added to you, baby, to you, my Hurricanes. Because I know their other tackle isn't draft eligible, and he'll be a guy I'm watching over the summer for next year. So I kind of like stayed away from Miami offensive line, but now I'm gonna have to hop back into that sucker. We also got Miles Frazier, Garrett, was it Dellinger? The LSU guards, who are fun. They're just not like outside zone type blockers. Both of them, I think they're like mid to late day 3 guys, in my opinion. Like with Frazier, I think is the better of the two. Just a powerful frame, good downhill runner, good eyes, very durable. Also has a lot of versatility. You could go back to his days at Florida International where he was playing left tackle. But he is a bit heavy-footed. His hands can be slow. Plays with a high pad level. And then, of course, Dellinger. Another guy that's like, I feel like it's just kind of the same stuff. The hand usage isn't ideal, plays with a high pad level. He does have some balance issues, kind of overextends, gets caught lunging, but he's also an experienced player who does a good job of keeping his head on a swivel. So like, I feel like both of them are going to be like gap to inside zone blocking type of guards. It's cool to see JC Davis here. It wasn't exactly like a great year, but it was a fine year. He was transferring from, I think it was New Mexico. You got Chase Lundit. Gotta learn how to say that one. But the Yukon tackle, Lundit. Anywho, another guy with a lot of experience under his belt, very clean prospect, like wasn't very heavily penalized over his years of being a starter. He has over 3,000 snaps to his name. Very explosive athlete, very active feet, active hands. It's just you kind of worry about tall tackle problem, will struggle to get leverage because he's coming in at what, like 6'8", 305, might be 6'7". But Does have a thinner lower half. I believe he played tight end in high school. So I got to get to the Boston College defensive or offensive line. You got Ozzy Trapillo. I don't know if his teammate's going to return. What's the name of the teammate? I know I put him down somewhere here, didn't I? Oh, maybe I didn't put him down. I don't see it. But yeah, I mean, they got a guy going to the Shrine in Jack Conley. I'm trying to remember what the other tackle's name was. It was like Brownry or something, or Bowery. Can't recall. They also have a center that I think is pretty high on Mel Kiper's board in Drew Kendall. Again, I gotta get to the tape before I can make a call on these Boston College guys. We'll figure out a way to somehow get tape for Alabama A&M, but Carlson Vincent being one of the smaller school prospects here, that it's going to be huge for him to see how he produces. And then Seth McLaughlin, I don't think we'll be able to partake. I think he will just be there for interviews because I don't recall how bad the injury was. I mean, that whole Ohio State offensive line was banged up this year. But let's go ahead. Let's move to the defense. As you can see, you got Olu Denjo. I don't know, UCLA. I think he's more of an edge player. If I'm right. Yeah, more of an edge player. But again, got to get to the UCLA tape. I haven't got to Demetrius Knight Jr. either. I'm starting to notice, like, with this linebacker class, and I say like linebacker because like they got some edge players up in here. You got Oladejo, you got Colin Oliver. They list David Walker as a linebacker. They list Jalen McLeod as a linebacker, and he was more of an edge player. But I gotta get to both these Auburn guys and Eugene Asante. Nick Martin, I love that he's gonna be at the Senior Bowl. I think he might be the highest rated linebacker I have there. No, he is not. Because of this man right here, Jeffrey Bassa, dude. Jeffrey Bassa's just been all over the place for Oregon, man. Very good athlete. He used to play safety. He actually was recruited as a safety, then made the transition to linebacker, coming in at 6'2", 230 pounds. And he's kind of been the quarterback for the defense there, right? Where he kind of gets the front seven all aligned, making sure everyone's in position. He's got good coverage ability. He's been a sure tackler, good length, good blitz and upside, though it wasn't really utilized that much this year as it was the year prior. But he does have a bit of a slender build. Like, he's jacked to the gill, so it causes him to look a little bit more slender than he is. So it's not like he lacks ideal power for the position, but maybe ideal mass to be able to sustain blocks, or at least hold up against blocks in the run game. It can be a bit flat-footed in coverage, like his change of direction and burst from a static position is just not as explosive as you would expect from a former safety. And it's not because he's a bad athlete, because he's actually a really good athlete. I think part of it is maybe just like maybe a delay in his post-snap reads and just kind of not playing on the balls of his feet, so not necessarily being prepared. So, but like Bassa, I kind of like him as a potential third rounder. And to be fair, man, like this linebacker class, I'm kind of curious who ends up returning, because a lot of the guys that accepted invites weren't in my top 10 to 15. Tareem Powell, though, was the Rutgers linebacker. I think him and his teammate Mohamed Toure, who's not listed here, are very similar players, but obviously Powell has the better size. Does have a bit of an injury history, though. He had a neck injury, probably the most notable one, where he had multiple surgeries on his neck. He also had a bad run of luck with a season-ending hand injury and a torn Achilles this past spring. So that's definitely something we're going to need more answers on, but won't get them until the Senior Bowl. Not Senior Bowl, Combine, excuse me. But let's move on to this defensive line class, because guys, this defensive line class is nuts. It's exceptionally good. And you got Peebles here, right? Out of Virginia Tech, formerly at Duke. I know Alex, again, from Hail Mary Sports. Me and Alex, we talk a lot about these prospects. He is... he's a bit higher on him, but again, he's undersized, so there's only so much I can fall in love with. I don't think he was nearly as, I think he was maybe pretty productive this year, but not to the degree that he was at Duke last season. Darius Alexander, I haven't got into the Toledo tape. I gotta watch him, and is it Maxon Hook, the safety there for Toledo? So I gotta go watch the Toledo tape for a couple of these prospects. You got Shamar Turner, who made like the full transition from edge to interior player this year, and was kind of is what it is. It was whatevs. Was it Berrien Sorrell or Sorrell? I've never been a huge fan of his. I kind of see him as a mid to late first round pick. Did I say first round? Mid to late day 3 pick. But along this interior, you got Omar Norman Lott. I don't think I've really talked about him a ton on the channel, if at all. I know I talked about his teammate Omari Thomas, who I'm kind of hoping gets a Senior Bowl invite. Because I don't think Thomas has eligibility left. He might. No, I don't think he does. But with Omar Norman Lott, a lot of people just look at the pass rush win rate and they fall in love. Look at how much pressure he's creating as a pass rusher. 17.1% is hella good for a defensive interior player. He's coming in at 6'3", 315, so he's got really good size. And he's a really good athlete at that size. And he's shown good leverage. He's shown good play strength. He's just got the makings of being a very scary pass rusher. My problem with him is he's too bull in a china shop. And some people think that's like a good thing. When I say bull in a china shop, I feel like it just, in my head, it's like you're playing out of control. You know, you're in there, you're causing havoc, but at the same time, are you achieving much? Like, are you going back there and you being able to finish plays? Are you penetrating, winning the rep at the expense of your assignment? Like, because one of the biggest things in his game that I don't like is discipline in the run game. Because I don't think there is much discipline in his ability to play the run. Like, sometimes he just works himself out of the play altogether, out of the gap he's supposed to be in. He never seems content holding the point of attack, and there's just too much freelancing from him as a player. So I kind of look at him as this kind of like a DPR, designated pass rush only, or at least at this juncture in his career. But I get why people like him, man. Super duper athletic. You got Kyle Kennard out of South Carolina. Dude, South Carolina's defensive line's kind of goated, kind of nuts. Jordan Birch, who's going to be kind of probably best placed, like his best position in the NFL is probably like a 3-4 end. But he's had a big year. My boy Princely Umami Ellen out of Mississippi, dude. He's among some of the edge rushers in this class who have a pass rush win rate over 20%. And I feel like he gets lost in the sauce, man. Not enough people are talking about him or willing to talk about him. But nonetheless, he's also got a teammate here in Jared Ivey, who is coming in. He's kind of meaty for an edge player, kind of meaty, but he's having a big year. He had 34 pressures, 9 sacks. He's coming in at 6'5", 285 pounds, and he is a power rusher through and through. Powerful hands, good combination of size and speed. But why I think he probably gets pushed up is how good he is as a run defender, man. Because that powerful frame allows him to set the edge well, and he just does a really good job going out and kind of just sealing the edge, man. Where he needs to get better is at 6'5". He just doesn't play with consistently good leverage. Like he just struggles from a 2-point stance. So this is a guy that's going to have to play with his hand in the dirt. His pass rush moves, like his toolbox he could definitely add some more arrows, or more arrows to his quiver, I think is what they say. But just more pass rush moves. Like he's got a ton of power moves. Be nice to see a finesse move here and there, but also when it comes to like hand counters and whatnot. And at his size, lateral ability is not going to be necessarily elite, but that's fine. You're 285. I get it. It is what it is. But I really liked him. I think while we're here, man, let's talk about freaking Ty Robinson. I just got to the Nebraska defensive line tape this week, and I get why people like Ty Robinson, man. So when it comes to Ty Robinson, right? 33 pressures, 5 sacks this year, win rate at 10%. That's kind of moderate for the defensive interior position. That's like, you kind of look at that, you're like, oh, okay, so that's probably in line to be maybe an early day 3 pick. Like I could see him as a 4th rounder, maybe sneak into that top 100, just because he's 6'6", 310. And he's just uber powerful, really good against the run. Like, again, there's a lot to like about him. He's big, he's mean, he's long, he's violent, he's incredibly powerful, and he's very experienced. This is a guy that's played, he'll come rush off the edge. He'll eat space up as a nose tackle. He works really well off of double teams because he plays with such urgency. But he just lacks ideal athleticism. He just does, man. Like he's got all right straight line speed, and that's kind of how he wins when he gets kicked out to the edge. But like he lacks a solid first step. The pursuit speed to like finish plays along the sideline just isn't there. And like you kind of watch this guy trying to like move laterally or change direction, and it's like he's got some worn and torn brake pads because it takes him a minute to stop and get going the other way. Does play with a high pad level. He's 6'6". I freaking get it. Yeah, leverage isn't going to be a strong suit of his, but he is grown as a pass rusher. You definitely saw him add some moves. If you watched maybe just a few games from him in 2023, it's like, okay, he definitely added some stuff to his repertoire, but he's still got a way to go as a consistent pass rusher. Not the most consistent finisher when he gets to the backfield there. So like, I get why people like him. It's just, I think there's many more guys I like in this class, and I guess we'll see if those guys end up returning or if they declare. We also got, you got Ja Joyner, the edge player from Minnesota. I think he's fine. You also have Josiah Stewart, who's undersized there in Michigan, but was probably one of the most winning pass rushers in college football this past season. I'd have to see where he ended at, but like this dude was just consistently winning. And I remember liking him from Coastal Carolina. We got Joshua Farmer, and Joshua Farmer just saw some of his teammates either return or head to the transfer portal. Like Patrick Payton's coming back, or no, he's transferring. Darrell Jackson's returning to Florida State, and I believe Marvin Jones Jr. is actually transferring as well. So you got Farmer actually coming out, and he's kind of fine. Like I get it, there's upside with him. He's coming in at 6'3", 318, and he's got good burst, good suddenness, predictable size and strength, powerful hands. Just another guy that struggles with pad level despite being 6'3", by the way. His technique's just kind of all over the place, needs a little refinement in there, and he just needs to find better ways to defeat double teams because he's effectively neutralized when that happens. You got Cam Jackson, who's just this hulking menace there at Florida, coming in at 6'6". I got him down as 374. I don't know what he's currently weighing. This was preseason, like before the season. That's what Florida listed him at. But you got a big space eating nose tackle there. I got to go and get back to his tape. You got Donovan Ezeraku, that Landon Jackson. I mean, look at that. This defensive line, like, we're going to learn a lot about the quality of the offensive line class by how they do against this defensive line class, because these guys are going to go and get after it. They just are. Now let's talk about the secondary. To wrap up the video here with the secondary, you got Bilal Cone out of Western Michigan. I did get to his tape, and he's kind of just a guy, in my opinion. Kind of maybe a late day 3 pick, maybe a UDFA. He was initially went to, what was it, Iowa Central Community College. Then he goes to Indiana State. Showed up last season for Western Michigan with only 4 starts this year. Started this year. Was the full-time starter this season. It looked good. Like, he's a solid athlete. Good feel for zone. It's just doesn't use his length well in press. And not an elite level athlete. So probably a guy that's going to be kind of an off coverage zone only corner. But probably could do a better job playing the run. There's a lot of stuff where I looked at it, I was like, nah. Like, I got excited. It was like, oh my gosh, Western Michigan in the Senior Bowl. I remember Marshawn Nealand. No. Unfortunately, Cone, I don't think is one of those guys that's going to be flying up boards, but you never know. Darian Porter, very good athlete there at Iowa State. He's kind of been a hot riser during the second half of the season and can continue that pace with the strong Senior Bowl. You got Upton Stout out of Western Kentucky here. I haven't got to his tape. Currently got him listed under my slots just because he's 5'9", 182. But yeah, again, still got to get to his tape. There's actually quite a bit of slot corners at the Senior Bowl here that I just gotta still get to their tape. Hunter Wohler, who's more of a box safety / maybe plays in the slot, but also could kind of be a dime linebacker. I had him at 215. Honestly, if he wants to put on like 10 more pounds, man, he's just so good in the box. You got Dorian Strong, who I think is a very good off zone coverage corner. But yeah, I'd much rather if his teammate was coming out, because I think that's where all the traits are. Some people they like Strong quite a bit, but like I think Mansour Delane, who is transferring, I think he's going to LSU, by the way. I think he's a better athlete. I love the physicality he plays with. Like, he's a straight up competitor. And when you got like when it comes to like Dorian Strong, like some of the things I don't like about him, like his run defense, not great. He's got a wiry frame. I don't think he's an elite level athlete. So like, just saying, I'm just saying. I did finally get to Jonas Sanker, the Virginia safety, who just had a freaking monster year, by the way. 87 tackles at the safety position. Hell yeah, you get after it, young man. He's coming in at 6'1", 210. And dude's just an explosive downhill defender. He plays really well in man coverage. He also plays really well in zone coverage. And he's just obviously very good in run defense. 31 defensive stops at the safety position. Yeah. Now, might only be a box safety because he doesn't exactly have great top speed. He also can get a bit over aggressive in coverage and maybe get a little overzealous. But he's probably the best box safety in this class. And typically if I write down, yeah, box safety, you're probably going to be in the 5th, 6th round for me. That's just how I am with that specific role. But Sanker, he's kind of built different. I did mention Maxon Hook. Still got to get to the Toledo tape. You got Caleb Ransaw. I believe he's another one of these slot guys. Yeah, he played a majority in the slot last season. Don't know about this year, but he's coming in at 6 foot, 196. You got Jalen Smith, another guy that played a lot in the slot. He's 5'11", 190 for USC. Trey Amos, kind of been a big riser. And some people have him as a top 5 corner in this class, maybe as like a fringe first rounder. So he's definitely going to be someone to watch out for. You got Billy Bowman, undersized, but you love the type of competitor he is. It was kind of a down year for him, unfortunately, this year, but it kind of is what it is. I still think he's a really good player, and strong week could help him. Xavier Watts, dude, oh my gosh, like, dude, the safeties they have coming here, like, this freaking, oh, I love it, dude. I love it. You got Tommy Hill, who's former wide receiver turned corner. I think he's still early in that development. There's a lot of stuff he needs to get better at and polish off at, but he's hella fun. Dante Trader, I do want to highlight Trader. I haven't talked about him since the beginning of the year, and I absolutely loved him coming into the draft. And he's gonna be a guy I plan on watching back again this year, because part of me, it's like, how much did he really improve? Because he's got that ball hawk in him. Just don't think the ball skills were nearly on display this season as they were in 2023. Because he's got a quick trigger. I think he's probably going to be the best athlete among the safety group there at Mobile. And he has showcased a blitz and upside. So I'm gonna have to go back to the tape on him and see if he could end up being a big riser, because this has turned out to be a really good safety class. Again, we're assuming Malachi Starks comes out. We're assuming Nick Emmanuel comes out. I think Emmanuel is Emmanuel is a true junior, so he could end up returning, especially with South Carolina potentially being maybe a legit national championship contender next year. I can see some of those guys returning, but it's a good safety class. Kevin Winston decided to declare. Didn't really play this year because of the ACL injury, but like I thought he was on par with like a Malachi Starks coming into the year. It's a good safety class. We got Quincy Riley, guy with a really good track background. Sebastian Castro, probably more of a slot in the NFL, could be a box safety too. Malachi Moore is an absolute stud. Freaking love him. I don't know why he doesn't get talked about more. But then there's BJ Adams. I did get to actually both of the Central Florida corners. Again, if you have my draft guide, you could see me get to these guys in real time. You're like, oh, he just dropped an eval on this player. You will literally see me edit my draft guide in real time. A lot of y'all catch me doing it. But I did watch him. I also watched his teammate, Mac McWilliams, who's going to be at the Shrine. I do think Adams, is the better of the two, but not by much. I wasn't that impressed with his game. Like, I get why people like him. 6'3", 190. There's a lot of 6'3", 6'2" corners that are like 190 to 200 in this class. But he's tall, he's long, he's a smooth mover, good press technique. It's just, the dude is so handsy. Like 16 career penalties is kind of freaking nuts. He doesn't really have that gusto coming downhill, which it would be nice if he did. No real splash plays in coverage, and like just no effort as a run defender. Like this is a dude that wants to be impressed in the face of the corner or in the face of the pass catcher and try to ride these guys downfield, and just won't even look back if it's a run play. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like that was probably the biggest. On top of the penalties, I was like, man, golly, you gotta be better against the run than that, bro. But that's so far the class here, and I mean, I feel like I talked a good deal about a lot of these guys. Like, I kind of want to highlight it, maybe some of the guys I haven't talked about yet, and I just wanted to let y'all know where I was in terms of my watching, who I still need to watch. But I'm going to try to get evals for all these players that are at the Senior Bowl before I have to go down there in Mobile and check it out myself. I'm hoping also to have Shrine, but that's going to be I think that might be difficult because like I was looking at the Shrine and I'm like, how the hell am I going to get tape on this guard from Middlebury? I've never heard of Middlebury in my life, and this is my first time hearing it. I don't know how I'm going to get tape on that guy. I'm just going to have to probably rely on how he does at the Shrine and call it a day with that. But let me know who are some of your favorite prospects here at the Senior Bowl, or who are some guys you hope maybe accept invites. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.